Thenoboowan. Welcome to your Monday's favorite program, Dhamma Hadaya. Today's program is the continuation of the discussion of Satara Satipatthana with Dr. Shiroma Bandara. I would like to introduce her to you. Dr. Shiroma Bandara is from UK and she has been a dentist. I just said she had been a dentist because she retired early to follow the footsteps towards Nibbana. So she has taken time and she wants you to take your time and work through this most noble eightfold path and attain the goal of Nibbana. Ma'am, we warmly welcome you to Dhamma Hadaya once again. And during our last program, we happened to discuss a lot about Vedananupassana. And then we touched upon Chittanupassana as well. Indeed, we had a little discussion on Chittanupassana. Today, I thought we would like to, we would take Dhammanupassana as the theme. But before that, I would like you to revise a little on Chittanupassana, where we ended, for the sake of our viewers.
Yes, of course. Yes, I'd love to. Chittanupassana, again, it is about watching your mind and what arises and passes in the mind with mindfulness and effort and wisdom, atapi sati sampajanyo, to understand the mind and realize the truth of what happens in the mind. So by that, the whole idea is for cessation of suffering and eradication of defilements and have peace and calm and ultimate truth and Nibbana at one point in life, yes. Hopefully in this birth itself.
Sure. And ma'am, there was a question that I couldn't ask last time, that I missed asking last time regarding Chittanupassana. Now, when you do this Chittanupassana, now supposing you have a feeling of craving, lobha, and you recognize it, and supposing you have a feeling of anger or aversion, and you recognize it, but how can you recognize moha or delusion? Because you might not know that this is delusion.
Yes, that's a good question. Yeah. You were saying you have anger and you recognize it. And if you have craving and you recognize it. And if you have anger and you recognize it and have craving and you recognizing it, that means there is no ignorance there. Mm-hmm. So that is how you look at it, as I understand, because if you have craving and anger, underneath all that is again ignorance. Mm-hmm. Not knowing that your mind is full of anger now, not knowing your mind has become full of craving and lust now is ignorance. Mm-hmm. So as you said, if you know, then that itself brings the mind into a non-delusional state. Mm-hmm. So knowing is a stage where you are in non-delusion. Okay. Whatever defilement is there, that actually nicely brings us to Dhammanupassana, mm-hmm. because Dhammanupassana is all about that as well.
So let us come to Dhammanupassana then.
Yes. Again in Satipatthana, the Buddha says dhamme dhammanupassati viharati atapi sati sampajanyo, 3 beautiful words, and that will lead to cessation and suffering and eradication of defilements, mm-hmm. peace and calm. There are lots of sections that's mentioned in the Dhammanupassana. 5 aggregates is one of them that I think is very important to discuss. Mm-hmm. And yes, and our programs are based mainly on Vipassana, Bhavana and meditation. Mm-hmm. So we mm-hmm. won't go into technicalities of these subjects, mm-hmm. but just purely focus on the meditations we can do.
Sure.
And the realization will open the Dhamma for us anyway. Mm-hmm. So 5 aggregates, as you know, is form and feeling, perception, mental formations, consciousness, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, vijnana. And the danger comes with clinging to each of them. So Rupa Upadanaskandha, when it becomes Vedana Upadanaskandha, and Sanya Upadanaskandha, Sankhara Upadanaskandha, and Vijnana Upadanaskandha. The clinging is the part that we have to be most aware of in these 5 aggregates. And if you take one at a time, like the Rupa Pajanati, Chakku Vijnana Pajanati, Chakkung Pajanati. Buddha said to understand Rupa, there is external and internal. The external is the object of seeing or hearing or smelling or tasting. And the internal, Adhyatmika, is the eye, ear, nose, tongue, and skin, and even the mind. They are like the internal. Mind and mind, Dhamma, Arammana and Dhamma, that also goes as part of the 6 sense bases there. So here it is most important to start this Vipassana from Rupa if you were to understand what reality is all about. And the Rupa, what actually happens here with these 5 aggregates and clinging to them, we have created this illusion of I, and that it is permanent, pleasurable, pleasant, and there is an I there. So by knowing about the 5 aggregates and separating them and knowing the rising and passing of these aggregates, we may be able to separate this process to find where is this I working here, and then come into realization of anatta. So it's very important to address Rupa, because that is where the biggest illusion comes, and very difficult to cut through that the solidity, Gana Sanya, and the Samuha Sanya, the solid entity that we have to cut through, that this is in fact a huge arising and a passing. Yeah. So when you so here again, if we concentrate on the process that's happening and look at the Rupa outside, we do a Vipassana meditation here to actually see what are these things we see. So in this, it's good to do it on a retreat condition, but if not, through the day we look at all the objects. So in the morning, if you get up and you have few hours to do Vipassana, you can say, yes, I'm going to look into this Nama Rupa and how the process works. So what are these Rupa? Again, coming to Rupa Skandha, there is these 11 qualities that make the Rupa Skandha. And then practically, you start by looking what falls, the flowers. Now, as soon as I say flowers, it's gone beyond Rupa, because it's the mental part of it that called it a flower. So go backwards.
I think with Professor Ravi Koggalage, we have discussed about that, the feeling that when we say it's a flower, it's just the mental fact.
Exactly. We have gone, he's quite right.
We have taken the flower example very often.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I saw the bunch of flowers there, and it came, this is where it is. So let's say, if we go, this is what naturally arose. So what we will start with where it naturally happens, flower. That's what happens. So let's, now in Vipassana, whole of the mindfulness, remember we discussed how the Pancha Indriya now comes into the eye. The Shraddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, Prajna, all 5 focuses on the I base. And the king of I is not about seeing pleasant, permanent, self-made thing. Now the I is focused on looking mindfully at reality. That is where all 5 converge. Now, when that happens, you look and say, there's a shape and a color. The shape is also because of atomic vibrations being clogged up together. So, color, there's a color there. And and then you go round yellow and white or red color. The cushion, without going for the cushion, the round, circle, maroon. So do that for the whole day, and automatically from inside it starts separating it out, and before the word clock comes, it goes circle, silver. That comes first. So there is a gap that suddenly reality is coming there first. So this Pancha Indra is completely focused there now, has become the king of the eye, and reality is being shown. So the whole day, few days, we go around saying circle, yellow, purple, square, like that. And so there is no identification, therefore there is no feeling, there is no identification, there is no mental formations happening, just simply an observation. So here the Rupa we see as Rupa to quite a lot towards reality. Now again going to deeper into Rupa, Buddha had in many sutras discussed that there is the 4 elements, that Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, that makes Rupa, and the Akasa Dhatu. And that we have to go beyond that to cut through that Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu into atomic vibrations, Kalapa, Rupa, Kalapa, and what exactly is there. We can in words say, well, there is nothing there, there is only atomic vibrations, and then the atomic vibrations the scientists have heard is actually an energy, and in that energy fluctuation, there is nothing there. So it's emptiness. So it's shunya. So in fact we can actually deduct it, intelligently deduct it to that and keep looking, and that also might work, but might not. We might say, oh, there is no flower bunch there, it is nothing, it's atomic vibration, and we'll talk few hours on that, but when we go home, you see your mom and you're hungry, and you will say, Mom, I'm hungry, what is there to eat? Is that aubergine? Oh, it's so tasty. So what's happened? It doesn't quite sink in. It doesn't go in. You will talk about it. You will understand it. The minute you go out, you're looking for your car. You're embroiled with all the mundane things. And the sati eye doesn't come there. The seeing eye comes back there because it's not trained properly. That sati eye is not powerful enough. So how do we make this sati eye so powerful that naturally wherever you look, it comes like that. It automatically comes like that. And of course it's a whole huge process of training your mind, but we will mention a little here. Here is where you need to see for yourself, seeing the atomic vibrations and seeing the Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, experiencing the Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, seeing through the Patavi to see the anicca of Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, seeing anicca of Patavi to the extent of its atomic, the particles and beyond particles to vibration, to an energy. And you can see that in meditation. So that is where your vipassana jnana opens up, and to practice that, you practice with the breath meditation and breathing vipassana with the breath, beginning, middle and end, and then you see the rising, passing of the beginning, middle and end, and then you keep on doing it very acute focus, and you see as if if there is a branch with thorns, and if you press your hand like this, you go like taka 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 like that, like breaking. You will see the breath breaking like that. And the out breath breaking like that. And after a while, it will break into even tinier pieces, and you will start seeing like when you must have seen when the window is half open, or there is a column of light coming through the window, and with dust particles. So you will see these dust particles all vibrating inside, and you're in deep samadhi watching this. Keep on watching it, and then you can see that completely engulfing your whole body, going into this atomic whole vibration. And an experience is to, if you open your eyes, and you will see the whole of the ceiling and the trees and the sky and every place where the sight is in atomic vibrations. So
Wow.
that experience, once you had it, or twice or three times you had it, it will never be erased, and you will see that in beyond words.
Okay.
It's beyond sign, beyond word, and it's a seeing and an experience. And that, if you give it a name, it's called Udayavya Jnana, and the Vipassana Jnanas are opening now. We have already separated Nama, Rupa. Rupa has been separated by Nama. We know the Rupa and the Nama bit coming, identifying it, giving it a name is as mentality. And we have also discussed about the causes and effects that causes this Nama Rupa process to converge in a seeing process. And now we are looking at Rupa itself to arising, passing of the Rupa. So now, having seen, having had that experience, if you look at the flowers and say there's nothing there, that person is seeing through the sati eye, and is that wisdom is the whole, that bowl of flowers is camouflaged by wisdom. Sure. And sees as atomic.
And I guess by this time your ego will be very less, because you're seeing things in this manner, in vibrations, atomic vibrations.
Yes, to a very high extent it has cracked, because you have seen more than that, you have seen the cause and effect process. Yeah. So if there is no I, how does this happen? Of course it happens because of causes creating an effect. No causes, no effect. That's what this is all about, the whole process of seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, thinking. So that is how we understand Rupa Pajanati. And I. How do you understand I? Now the I, if actually, is this the I? Is there a permanent I? Have you got an I? Have you? Well, where is your eye? Can you see your eye? It is anidassana.
I can't see my
most
own.
venerable monks have explained this beautifully. I have to mention Mankadawala Sudassana Mahathero has explained this beautifully, how it's anidassana and you can't see your own eye. And if you stick your finger or your needle here, can you see then? Close your eyes.
Okay.
Stick your finger on your eye.
Okay.
Did seeing happen?
I can't see it happen. I can see the finger if I open a little.
No, you don't open. Now here, what actually happens, if you touch your hand and touch your finger, touch your eye and touch your hand, it's a touch sensation, isn't it?
Yes, it's only the touch sensation.
It is the pottabba and touch senses. So what happened to the eye?
It's not there.
Eye hasn't arisen.
Yeah.
It's not there. Asesa, no sesha, no remnant there, no eye at all there. It's part of pottabba dhatu, part of the body. So when does the eye arise? When the object falls on the eye and the mind goes there, the consciousness arises at the eye base, eye arise.
Only when the consciousness arrives
at the eye base.
Otherwise,
the eye arise.
You cannot see.
Yes, and the eye arise, and because of the consciousness arising, eye arising, and the object arising, seeing arose. In fact, now we are actually going towards the next section of the discussing about the six sense bases, salayatana, as well in the same Dhammanupassana. Together we will discuss both. So here we are. So that's a beautiful explanation the Venerable Monk had given, which has gone in me quite a lot, where people think we have an ear, but the ear only arises when the sound arises and the mind in the eye base, ear base arises, and the hearing happens. So again, when this process happens, the concept of I goes. So here is what happens. And then what happens? Then what happens? Nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
Nothing happens because it has gone to Niruddha. It has finished. It has passed. But is that what actually happens in reality? No.
Not really,
in our ignorant reality, what happens is we take that object and hook onto it, and then the mano vijnana, the mind consciousness arise, and we give it a name, and then we like it or not like it, or we say it's pleasant or unpleasant, the bowl of flowers, and then we make mental formations. I talk about it, want it, go and get it, and it all starts happening in the consciousness.
Yeah. So the object outside has absolutely nothing to do with it.
Yes.
It's just us.
Yes,
it
that
is the
has
mind.
arisen and gone.
Okay.
Alright, because it is in atomic flux.
Okay.
We discussed about that. So every arising passed away, because it happens so quickly. We have this little illusion of a object there. But we hook on to that, and that happens. And look at what happens in the ear, which we can actually relate to Vedananupassana and Chittanupassana.
Okay.
We hear the angry word. Angry word hits the ear base, and ear arose, the consciousness arising, hearing arose, finished. Some words, some sound, not even words, some sound. And then the inside the mind consciousness hooks onto that, takes that as an object, and identifies harsh words, I don't like it, and creates this sankhara. But if actually wisdom and sati goes into the ear at that right moment, that split second gap, and separates this out and say that fell out, and then none of this will happen. And you will not react, and you come to sankhara samato. That means no word, no action, no thought reaction will happen because of this wisdom.
So it's just the hook that we put creates trouble.
Exactly. So unlock the hook and you're fine. When dukkha arises because of some agitated word that comes, and dukkha arising, that also happens with the same process. We hook on to an image that had already gone. And if you straighten the hook, and again the whole of the dukkha has gone, the minute the wisdom works, prajna works there. In fact, I like to bring you to the first stage of the paticcasamuppada there, avijja paccaya sankhara. It explains beautifully. Because of ignorance, because you hook on to that what arose and passed away and created rupa sanya, or a Dhamma aramuna inside. It's not actually the rupa, it's a rupa sanya you have created, and then you react to it and you don't like it, you like it, and you make a big commotion out of it and make karma, huge karma, akusala karma. All that happens, and suffering comes, dukkha comes because of not knowing that that arose and passed away. So ignorance created sankhara. Avijja paccaya sankhara. So that link you could see beautifully there. So reverse of the link is, if you know about it, this sankhara will not happen. No avijja nirodho, sankhara nirodho. So that explains there. So this happens through all the six senses here. And again a little story comes to my mind here. It's like the image of something, the form falling on your eye. If you take it as an image falling on the mirror, and you see the image on the mirror and it's disappeared as you move out. It's not there, the image is not there at all. But if there's a second mirror catching this image of the first mirror, it's fallen on the second mirror. So this is the second mirror inside the mind, and the reaction comes from the second mirror. Nothing to do with the first mirror or the object outside. So far apart. So if you understand that, and if you're in that sati with all five pancha indriya converging in the eye, becoming the king of eye, king of this eye, then you will be seeing it like that and separating it out and going to a sabba sankhara samato.
So it is this magician of the vijnana that is creating all the trouble, I suppose. It's just not the objectives outside, or it's just not the eye or the ear itself. It is just us, the vijnana within you.
Yes, it is the consciousness. If I may say something like the consciousness creates existence. Consciousness creates this existence. Existence is the illusion, the untruth. It's like two lights focusing on and making a hologram. He said two beams come and make a hologram. Two beams are not there. The hologram is not there. It's like this. It's a magician. It's a creation. Somebody created something because of. And also this rupa in Pali words, you can say it's olarika, and it's sankata, which is anicca, dukkha, anatta, is olarika, sankata, and pachupanna. Pachupanna is because of causes, and that is the creation there. But it is basically it's anicca, dukkha, anatta.
Well, ma'am, what role does pancha nivarana, Kama, Chanda, Vyapada, Thina Midda, Uddhacha Kukkucha and Vichikicha play in Dhammanupassana?
Yes, that is very good question, because Pancha Nivarana are 5 hindrances that actually work throughout our waking time, and this is covering Nibbana. So in fact it is good in Dhammanupassana to address those 5 as and when they arise, and as and when they leave. For instance, Kama Chanda, sensual pleasures or sexual pleasures. If as it arises, if you can identify, how do you identify it? It's like a uncomfortable feeling. It's like something is agitation, like a little commotion.
Yeah, I think you can easily
identify that. Yes. And as it arises, if you are mindful enough to know that peace, calm, which was there before, so this arises from nowhere. It wasn't there before, it's just arisen now. So if you think, this is what's arisen, and it is Kama Chanda, identify it arising, and then watch and identify it leaving. And then if you can think why it arose and why it's leaving, how it arose and how is it leaving. By just watching, only watching, you can identify how even anger arose. These are the factors that gave rise to this anger, and this is the factor that made the anger leave. So the reason for knowing that is the cause of the anger you let go, and by yoniso manasikara or watching, you let go, and then anger doesn't arise again. So atapi is watching defilements, so that the defilements which are there, we subdue them or eradicate them, and defilements which are there, we will watch, allow not to arise again. And defilements which has never risen there, never to come back again, and defilements which are there to get rid of. So in the 4 ways which we look at for virya, samma virya. So even when this anger arises or Kama Chanda arise, look why it arose, how it left, and the causes which led to it, an object or some experience. You avoid the experience, avoid the object, or again you can get rid of from vipassana, knowing the anicca of the karma. Now say it is someone who's creating this Kama Chanda in you. The main object Buddha has said is Kama Chanda is the opposite sex. If that person is there and you're feeling this Kama Chanda in you,
you're craving for someone,
and that
feeling
person
of lust
in front of you, the object falls on your eye, and the Kama Chanda has first instant, if you catch it, you get this 5-second gap with the sati. Kama Chanda has arisen in me. This is like, so no aversion to it. Don't have aversion to it, but acknowledge it. And what is the first way we can get rid of, not get rid of, say let go of the Kama Chanda, more than get rid of, say let go of. So just the object is there. You can think of the 5 elements and their hands and legs and all that. But I think the most powerful one to think of is the asubha. All the vomit and the the saliva and the tears, and there are 9 doors where these asuchi, the feces, comes out of 9 doors, Buddha said. Think of all that, the feces, the urine, the vomit, the ulcers, the pus, and wounds and infestations, and
all the disgusting things
all
that
the
comes
9
out of
disgusting
the body.
things of the body. It works. First instance, do that. And then if you are someone who's used to doing Dhatu Manasikara, you can do Dhatu Manasikara, and if you're very proficient in doing it to atomic vibration, you can look and let it go to vibration, the whole object. You can do that as if it's only a perception. Just the sound is a perception, the form is a perception, and put it to atomic vibration. These are like deep vipassana way. Or you can actually do metta. This is kind of like my brother. This is like my father. Have turned to metta feeling. So you are like there's a sutra that comes to my mind. Vitakka Santana Sutra, 5 ways Buddha said how to tackle defilements. Vitakka Santana, very, very good sutra to read. It's not so much vipassana, this is more from samatha way to take away the lustful feeling and put metta there instead. So that is another way of getting rid of those kind of feelings. Even anger, we discussed it at length. We can put into anicca, that is like an atomic vibration of the sound, or change it with metta, huge metta to that person, and get rid of that feelings. So pancha nivarana, you can be aware and without putting a hook on, get hold of that 5 seconds and unhook and let go.
Okay. So get rid of all the hooks that cause trouble. Now, ma'am, having mentioned about the pancha nivarana, what if we just consider the 4 noble truths, that is the core of Buddhism, that is what the Buddha preached in his first sermon, the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra. What about the 4 noble truths?
Yes, this is absolutely very insightful, very valuable 4 truths, which we most of us don't tend to even contemplate on that line, or have a manasikara, yoniso manasikara on that line. We know that we have heard million times about the 4 noble truths.
Even in this program we have discussed over and over
again. But I will urge you, try and do this as an experiment. Next time when you have a sad feeling, agitation in the mind, look inward, not worry about what caused this or who did what to me. Just look inwards and just acknowledge that unhappy, sad feeling. A sadness arose, unhappiness arose. We know much about that now, and we know there is some beginning, middle and end, and that it will arise and it will pass. And also just see what caused it. Well, if there's a wanting of something, I want so and so to get better, I want this, or I have a craving. Look at that, think about that anicca of that wanting. No, not wanting is happiness. Remember that. Not
wanting is happiness. Okay.
Okay. So, and let go of that wanting. Here and now, release. Here and now, happiness. You don't have to do anything to cover it up. Now, the idea here is, Buddha said in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra, understand dukkha, so that dukkha becomes dukkha satya, and dukkha satya becomes dukkha jnana.
Okay.
Now, if you were to go out, ring a friend, or go out, see a movie, or go out, do something else to cover your dukkha, how are you going to understand it, to realize as a dukkha satya? How are you going to look at it deep inside to understand the dukkha satya, to turn to dukkha jnana? You'll never do it. Because till death, you will be doing other things to cover it. You'll be running around sukha to cover the dukkha. So now make a determination. Four Noble Truths, at least if I am to understand, realize, to come to the first stage of enlightenment, I should know it as a dukkha satya. Yeah. When it comes, there is no fear, because I know its qualities. I know it's anicca. I know it comes, it goes. So you're not scared of it, you're not fearful, you have no aversion to it. You welcome it just as you welcome sukha. There is samarasa in both, equal, non-judgmental, equal. Samarasa, the equality of that understanding that brings you to nirvindana. No, nothing about it. I don't feel anything when you come, dukkha. I don't feel anything when you come, sukha. So you face dukkha.
In the sense, not paying, I mean like without enjoying or just not paying a lot of, or not feeling really bad in happiness,
or low or high.
Sort of upekha feeling, is it?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. And then it doesn't matter to you whichever comes. So you are not running to do huge punya karma to be in sukha. You just acknowledge anything that comes. So who can throw you out? Who can shake you? No one. Even bad karma can't shake you when it comes. Wow. Because bad karma comes in the form of dukkha. So you know how to handle it. And you are there waiting, because it will become very powerless as you are having this Mahagata Sita watching it. It will become very powerless and it will go.
And you don't have to really worry about the apala, and you don't really have to just go and check your horoscope and just check whether it's a bad period for me, because here, now, you can just handle them, tackle them, even the bad karma in past.
Yes, so unhook, that's it. And then what has happened, what is happening within you is your samadhi is changing, your whole eightfold noble truths, all noble path is changing and changing, and you're gradually your mind is getting enlightened. And when you can handle dukkha as a truth that comes, like a dharmata, right? Now, like, look at the nature. If a wild plant is growing, does the mango tree say, "Oh, I don't want you near me, go away"?
Never.
It doesn't. And a creeper is going around the tree and sucking the nutrients. Does the mango tree say, "Don't go wrapping around me and sucking me out, and I will die if you do that"? They just watch. They just allow the weed to be. So you just allow dukkha to be. And then it is that the actual pain, you know where the pain comes from. It's not the first arrow that hits. It's not the first experience that comes from outside. It's the second one that's inside, the hook, the second arrow that creates the dukkha. The first arrow falls and falls down. The sight falls, the word comes and it passes away. The one that you hooks from inside is what gives you where the suffering of bad karma comes. So if you unhook, there is no suffering from bad karma. So here we are with vipassana. You have overcome bad karma by realizing the Four Noble Truths, your samadhi has increased, and you're living in cessation of suffering. So that part of it is important in Noble Truths, Four Noble Truths, to allowing it to develop into a truth rather than getting washed away with the dukkha.
And also, ma'am, since like does Dhammanupassana include also contemplating on the Paticcasamuppada?
Yes, it does. It does, and I think we have touched a little bit on that.
Yes,
every time we talk about Paccuppanna, it's about the whole process of causes and effects, creating existence. Some teachers do explain it, putting into the past, this birth and the future births, but I like to tend to look at it here and now, because the Dhamma is akalika, and everything arises and passes away here and now, and as every arising is because of Paticcasamuppada, every passing is because of Nirodha, cessation of the Paticcasamuppada. So it arises and passes here and now. Dukkha arises and passes. Dukkha at the end, jatipi dukkha, and the end is dukkha, because the beginning is avijja. So it is all dukkha arising now, because avijja is there now. So if dukkha is not there now, avijja is not there now. So here it's condensed to here and now. So it all arises with ignorance. We talked a little bit about ignorance. And what ignorance, if I ask you, what is this ignorance that creates sankhara? Sankhara is like the existence, right? And ignorance causes sankhara, existence. So if we take it as very basic level and very, very mundane level, like experiential level, not what's in the book or what it's been said or anything, but just look at it from the basic level. We discussed this whole suffering. Ignorance is all about not knowing reality. And if we talked about the flowers, not knowing reality, that this illusion is caused by a mentality and materiality. So we are not aware of nama rupa, is the basic level of say ignorance. And here we say not knowing nama rupa, we give create a person and falls into personality view, sakkaya ditthi. So again going up, then what we do is we create this existence because of ignorance. We think it is sukha, dukkha, atta and nitya instead of anitya, dukkha, anatta. So that is the next level what we do after creating this without separating nama rupa, creates an existence with a person, and then we think it's sukha, dukkha and atta. This is ignorance. And then when dukkha arises, we wouldn't know there is a because of a cause, and cessation of the cause is cessation of suffering, not knowing the Four Noble Truths at the pinnacle. So from the beginning, this ignorance is not knowing reality, not knowing the not separating out mentality and materiality as two separate arisings causing a process happening at the six sense basis. So there you are. So how come that ignorance causes sankhara? Because of not knowing that, we create sankharas. As we said, as we gave an example just now, because of not knowing it, we react with word, thought and deed and cause sankharas everywhere. And again, you've heard about the dog story. The dog goes with ignorance, thinks that his image is reality, and then barks and runs and causes angry thoughts, causes sankhara because of ignorance. And again, coming to sankhara paccaya vijnana, again we can see through the five sense bases here, because that is what arises and passes moment to moment. The sankhara is like kaya sankhara, Vachi Sankara, Mano Sankara. And Kaya Sankara we say, breathing we take as a Kaya Sankara.
Okay.
So here is a way to understand it. Kaya Sankara arise, that's the breath and the nose, nostril, Kaya. And when they touch, when they touch, what happens? The Vijnana arise there, and touch sensation arise. So here Sankara Pachaya Vijnana. I touch like that. Sankara Vijnana has arisen. And outside sounds are Sankara, and you can take this as a Sankara, the ear base, touching all that. Again, the Sota Vijnana arises. So there you are, Sankara Pachaya Vijnana. And then Vijnana Pachaya Nama Rupa, it goes and creates again Nama Rupa, like Chetana and Kaya working, like how you did in the walking meditation. And then the Salayatanas are created and the whole thing. At the end, I like to mention, it says, Bhava is created because of craving, Tanha Pachaya Bhava.
Rebirth. The next birth.
No, Bhava we take again, remember, this moment.
This moment.
Bhava, we are creating a bhava here and now.
Right.
Here and now, craving creates the next moment. Right, craving. I want that. Then bhava, next moment is I reach out to get it.
Okay.
So here and now, next bhava is created. And here and now, bhava pachya jati. How does that happen? Bhava pachya jati is beginning of birth.
Yes.
And birth, jati pachya, jara marana dukkha domanassa, all the suffering is a reason. So is this the birth of a baby? Is it?
Or thought?
Yeah. So if you come like thought, only thought, we thought that today we discussed suffering is very good, you caught that. Is it only the thought? What about the form? Birth of a form is suffering, birth of a feeling is suffering, birth of a perception is suffering, birth of sankhara is suffering, birth of vijnana is suffering. So all 5 aggregates. Jatipi dukkha is birth of the 5 aggregates causing suffering. And then nirodha, passing away without a further rising of the 5 aggregates, is cessation of suffering without further arising of suffering. So the 5 aggregates all not arising again is like, you can say, anupadisesa arahat at that time. So suffering starts with every birth. So jatipi dukkha we can see as that in that situation. So reversal of that, knowing the dukkha and knowing with prajna that birth gives rise to suffering, and then reversal of that is cessation of suffering and non-existence. There is no more rising, no more ignorance.
Okay. So that is Nibbana.
That is Nibbana.
Yes. Well, today, ma'am, I think we have filled many empty vessels. We have lit many lamps in your lives. So thank you so much for that very in-depth discussion of Dhammanupassana. And I'm sure, ma'am, today our viewers have a lot of questions, because like I also had a few questions. I just, specifically sometimes they were my own questions, and sometimes I asked for the benefit of the viewers in order to clarify certain things that I got confused, certain things that I did not understand. But I'm sure our viewers must be having quite a lot of questions, and they would like to, have a discussion with us regarding this. Please give them your email address.
Yes, I will love to give that, and welcome all questions, because it's a Dhamma Sakaccha which will clarify lots of little doubts and maybe even wrong understanding. Hence, Buddha had said Kalena Dhamma Sakaccha. So please do send your statements,
yeah.
suggestions or questions or anything deeper than what we have been discussing, I will love to hear all that. You can send it to the email shiroma@hotmail.co.uk. That is shiroma@hotmail.co.uk.
Well, thank you very much, folks, and please continue watching Dhamma Hadaya for the continuation of this discussion, and let us meet next week once again with a fruitful discussion like the one we did today. So until then, take very good care. May the most noble triple gem bless you.